Hello everyone. This time we're going to be looking at yet another one of my favorite Transformer anime characters, and that is Sentinel Prime of the Elite Guard. Now, I have him in his vehicle mode, which is a plow truck, and even for a deluxe class figure, this is fairly small. It is just about the size, minus the plow, as deluxe class Bumblebee. Has the colors that you'd see as from the show model. Has the dark blue and orange, which oddly enough go pretty well together for me. The blue is a little darker than I expected it to be. It's not as dark as it is on the show model. And since this is a deluxe class, it's pretty basic. It doesn't really have any features besides being able to store the weapons on the top if you choose so. But one thing that I would like to know is that I'm more than positive it wasn't intentional, but because of how these unfold into his robot mode, it's on double pivots on each side, so if you can keep them together, you can either take it off to the side, to either side, and just as you'd see plow trucks doing it, to push it off to the side, which is a neat little side effect off of it. Now, to be able to store the weapons in this mode, you have to take the shield, which has a hole on the top and has this little piece sticking out. That piece is designed to be able to go through this little hollow out piece on the sword. So once you get to about here, they should meet up and it'll slide on freely. And then you'd notice that this piece here has the grooves on both sides, and that is designed to go in there with these ports going on and sliding in. Can be a little tricky because they don't exactly line up most of the time, but it's about the equivalent of being able to store Laserbeak on top of Soundwave in vehicle mode. It just doesn't look right, so I usually just prefer to have it off to the side. That's about it for the vehicle mode. Now, this reminds me, just the overall kind of like chunky and design of this really reminds me a lot of Energon Ironhide. It has a very Tonka truck quality about it, which isn't bad because it is designed for a kid's toy, but leaves a lot to be desired. If it was a Voyager class like I feel like it should have been, it could have some more features. Maybe, I don't know what else he could do in this mode, but it leaves a little bit to be desired, even though the design and looks is really good. The only other thing I like to note is, wow, you can see almost the entire robot there, but he's hidden. But overall, it is still a pretty neat little truck, but that's not my favorite out of the modes, or out of the robot and vehicle mode for this. The transformation is a lot simpler than I thought it would be, especially in the legs. The hardest part is really just taking this and taking off to the side. Now you see that the windshield here actually slides underneath this, which is very similar to animated jazz. So sometimes it can be a little tricky getting it back in there because the leg pieces here and the windshield are fairly close together and can be a little bit tricky to get them in there just right. But let's go on, snap those in place, just grab hold of the rear portion and straighten it out just like that, and separate it a little bit, and you're done with the legs. Okay, now want to grab hold of the front part of the door, just kind of take it off to the side, both. Sometimes it can be a little tricky. There we go. And then pivot this all the way up. Now here's a little interesting part. These arms, or the shoulder pieces here, have these 3 little notches here, and those can go into any of these holes here, but you have to have it lined up in such a way until you can kind of hear it click and see it move in all the way. Like right, well, that one time was lucky, but and then see that the arms are already done. Just putting them into your desired position. And let's go ahead and take his head up from his chest, separate the cloud part, rotate them down, and put them off to the side. Alright, and that is him in robot mode. One thing I'd just like to point out, he looks like a Voyager. If you're like just looking from the waist up, he has the overall bulkiness and size of a Voyager class figure, which I say again, which I believe it should have been. But if you look, his legs are really, really stocky. That's the only thing I just don't like about this figure. His legs are so stocky and short, and just if they would have figured out some way to extend them out a little bit more, give them a little bit more height, they can do that with deluxes. I mean, look at Lockdown. They made him almost as tall as a leader class, and he's a deluxe. So, because he is Optimus Prime's rival, I really would have just liked him to be as big as Optimus Prime. But besides the height of this figure, I absolutely love the design of this figure. And it's not just because he's my favorite character, but he has a look on his face. One aspect that I really like about him is, which I wish they would do, is that he doesn't have the trans or see-through or kind of glow-up eyes. Well, nearly all of them do, where it has the piece of this. Even though this has a piece of plastic, his eyes are still painted blue, which I think looks a lot better than just having the clear plastic as eyes. Which, unless you constantly have a light on the back, they always look kind of dark to begin with. But has a very masculine chest area with these, with the entire chest and shoulder pieces. And the has, instead of having a silver Autobot symbol like nearly all the Autobots do, he has the Elite Guard emblem on the chest, and in the vehicle mode he does have it on the hood. And another thing that's typical among the Elite Guard members is on his forearms he has another symbol, which I really don't think, it doesn't have a name for it, but it's among the Elite Guard, which is on the torso or waist of Jazz, and is like I said in my Jazz video, it is kind of a homage to the design that's on Prime's forearm, which I don't know why, but that's something I really like about it. His expression fits perfect for the character. He has a very smug and cocky look about him. Now, as far as weapons, let's separate them. You can put them in either hand, either one, but robots seem to typically be right-handed with their main weapon, so there's sword in that one and a shield in the other, or you could do whatever you want. No features among the weapons. Like I said, if this was a Voyager class, they might have been able to have something like, because in the show his shield can extend to his whatever size he wants, like energy field. They could at least have like some plastic pieces like flip out. I don't know. They could have been so much more done with this if it was a Voyager class. But besides the size of this figure, which could be a major problem, the overall design of this is very good. I highly recommend him. He is one of the major characters in the show that I wish would have got more showtime as Optimus's rival, and is a must-have in my eyes for any Transformer animated fan. Until next time, thank you for watching.
Oh, Mr. Plow, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow.